find a way to put yourself out of business. I'm like, what are you saying to me? He said to me, find a way to put yourself out of business and then create a defense against it. And I went home. That was the biggest lesson. I'm like, what does that mean? You're probably at home thinking, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay. What would put us out of business? If the offices are closed, if people can't get to us, well, hell, what happened during COVID? The offices were closed. Nobody is leaving their apartments, right? But we invested in online technology 3 years earlier.
Welcome everyone to the Kingdom REI podcast. Your host Ellis Hammond, and man, this episode right here, I think has the power to change your life. If anything, help you think huge and help you take huge action. I have with me today the Rockstar, the apartment Rockstar himself. Over 4,200 multifamily units, two-time National Apartment Owner of the Year, a mentor that I have met recently, and just trying to get as much wisdom, advice, gusto that I can from him because of how much energy he brings. So welcome everyone to the show. Robert Martinez, how are you, brother?
Man, I am excited. You know, we're down to 21 properties, just under 4,100 units. But yesterday we were awarded a great big deal, 246 units, 47 million, Class A deal here in Houston. We're super excited about it. I can't wait to start due diligence. I can't wait to get going. And, you know, we're going to kick it off right for our investors.
Class A. So I can't wait to talk about some of this, man. Well, Robert, listen, I know both of us, man, we like to talk fast, we go fast. And so I want to jump right into the show, but I always pray just because we have a show, man, a community of faith-driven leaders, and we just want to start there. So if it's cool with you, I'm going to pray for us, and we're going to get in, man.
Yeah.
God, thank you so much for this awesome show. Thank you for Robert. Thank you for his business and the blessing that he's been in Houston. I pray that you would bless this show, God, that you would bless Robert and his team, that you would help us, give us even strength today to share what would be helpful for those listening. I pray that in Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
So,
woo, let's go.
Robert, man, every rock star's got a good, like, you don't become a rock star without some story, right? So back us up a little bit, and I know our time is limited today, so there's so much I want to get into, but I think it would be amiss to not understand a little bit about how you got here before you got into apartment investing.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in South Texas, and my mom and dad were my very first mentors, like for a lot of people, and they told me to go to school and get good grades. So I did that, and I went to Texas A&M University. I have an engineering degree, and my next set of mentors were my professors, our teachers, right? And they said, you know, get good grades and get a good job. That's what I did. You know, we're kind of conditioned to do that as a society. And so I did that. I have an engineering degree, but I also have a little bit of personality. So I got into the sales aspect of engineering, and I dealt with a lot of engineers and guys with PhDs, and I'm selling them, you know, the value proposition on this $1 million piece of equipment that I'm about to sell. But what happens in corporate America is that I want to make here and they want me to make here. And that's true in most businesses. And they kept moving back the finish line or the goalposts over and over. And about the third time, I realized, man, I'm never going to get to my number because they keep monkeying with my commission plan. And so I got frustrated. I wanted to find a way to supplement the income that my employer was taking from me. I was very motivated. I was married at the time, and we had 2 young children. And that was the childcare money that they were taking away from me. And I wanted that back. I wanted control of my life. I didn't want anybody to discount my efforts. I mean, who wants to be discounted for their efforts, right? I don't work for free, and I don't work on sale. I bring premium effort. I expect a premium result and compensation. And so I started looking around for ulterior ways to supplement that income at first. And I found, you know, I read a lot of books, childcare facility. I looked at coin-operated laundry machines. And then I found Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a fantastic book. And I actually read that early in my career. I was about 23. Made no sense to me, and my brain wasn't mature enough yet to analyze or to understand what I was reading. And I literally threw it out the window. I had it like on audio tape back in the day. And then I joined this real estate club, this business radio. This guy was on business radio. He's advertising for his real estate club, and I joined it. And I swear to you, it was like a Rich Dad, Poor Dad book that came to life. And I was in a group of other like-minded people who all wanted the same thing. They wanted to invest in real estate.
How much you pay for that course, or how much you pay to be part of that group?
So it was $500 at the time for the 2-day boot camp. Saturday was everything you ever wanted to know about single family. I came home thinking I'm going to be the single family king. That's my new career, right? I'm going to go and buy 3/4 houses, offset the money that my employer was taking from me, literally stealing from me because it was my effort. Then I went to Sunday part of the boot camp, day 2, and I learned about multifamily investing. And as an engineer, I understand formulas, and they taught me the magic formula, and that's $1 of NOI divided by the cap rate equals the valuation. So $1 in today's world, 6 cap equals $17. On this Class A deal that we're about to buy, it's actually at a 4 cap. So $1 divided by a 4 cap is $25, right? And so that works for me. I'm an engineer. The numbers make sense, but I also have a sales guy. I understand people. I have a couple of superhuman powers that I believe that make me unique. One, I care about people. I'm very big on investing in my people. I'm very big on helping them grow. We're going to have an acquisition soon. It's a smaller little deal, and my people are going to get the first dibs at it. And I'm super excited about that. I told them that I will match them up to $5,000. I'm going to give my 20-some-year-olds or anybody in my company a chance to invest in this deal.
Wow.
And if they put $3K, I'll put $3K. If they put $5K, I'll put $5K, because I want them to experience what real estate has done for me. And they're going to get that at a very early age. So that's very exciting for me.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, thank you. And the other bit is I have a sense of urgency. I know, that things need to get done. They need to get done yesterday. So that's a good combination of multifamily. So I went to that. I loved the class. I joined the club. I paid $10,000. That was the single best investment in my entire life.
Had you ever invested that much money into yourself? Like, apart from college tuition, was that the biggest check that you'd written in personal education development at the time?
In anything. I mean, I don't even think, I think next to the down payment of my first house, which was $14,000, $10,000 on something that wasn't real, and education was a big deal to me. And that $10,000 changed my life.
Yep.
It created a new future career path. It gave me generational wealth down the line. But I also remember this, and that just because you write a check doesn't mean anything. The owner of the club, of the real estate club, challenged everybody who had just that graduating class, right? That weekend's signups. He said, look around. 80% of you will not do anything with what I've just shown you. And at the time, I was like, dude, that $10,000 is a lot of money to me. I don't want to blow that. I'm going to make the most of it. I just convinced my wife to help me write a $10,000 check, and she didn't want to do that. So I can't blow this. This is my one chance. And I went all in on that. I took the education. I immersed myself into everything the club had to offer.
Right.
And the biggest aspect was the networking. Shaking hands and kissing babies, which was right up my alley as a natural sales guy. You're right. It's about contacts. Contacts equal contracts. And so I made a connection with another real estate guy who had a little bit more experience than me in single family, nothing in multifamily. He and I created a partnership together. Over the next 3 years, he and I bought 10 deals, 2,000 units. He was the front man. I was the operating arm. And I did that very well. And during the recession is when my career was born. As the world's coming to an end, my sales ability, the ability to train my staff, not only kept us afloat, we got 3 100% cash out refinance events from 2008 to 2011. But life happens. Every relationship has a beginning. Every relationship has an end. My partner and I split. It was very difficult, but it was the best thing that ever happened after writing that $10,000 check. And I started Rockstar Capital.
Well, so I didn't know that. So you spent a lot of time behind the curtain, actually. I mean, 3 years, you didn't have a brand. It was just, you were just operating the deals.
But I was getting ready.
Yeah, 100%.
I was in the most important position.
Right.
I walked away from my $150,000 a year sales job, which should have been probably $250,000 because my employer was stealing from me. $150,000 to sit in that leasing office, making $32,000 as a leasing agent, as an assistant manager. And I learned how to lease apartments. If I can lease $1 million piece of equipment with a guy with a PhD, certainly I can lease a $500 apartment with a guy making less than $40,000. I did that. I learned how to collect rent. which is a very big piece when you're buying workforce housing, because they don't want to pay you. You're going to have to encourage them to pay you, and you're going to have to provide value, or they're not going to pay you. And then as a property manager, I learned the make ready process. I learned how to get units ready. I learned about renewals. The most important lesson you need to know, next to the magic formula, but is a offshoot of the magic formula, is you make all your money when somebody renews, not when they move in. Because when somebody renews, you save $3,000. When somebody moves out, you spend $3,000 minimum to get the unit ready, make ready, appliances, leasing commission, marketing, vacancy loss. It all adds up. $3,000 divided by the 6 cap is $50,000 of valuation. And if you understand that everything you do is with the renewal in mind, you will make money in real estate. So to just finish out my story, every year we were buying a deal. In about 2014, we decided to increase the velocity. I had a good group. We were winning awards. We started buying multiple deals. And we started getting scale and scale and scale. Over the last 10 years, we have bought 25 deals plus or minus. We currently have 21 deals. We have $420 million of assets under value. Year one, it was 4.9 million. I have raised over 120 million of investor capital. Our company has won 19 city, state, national awards. Just last week, I was honored with the Texas Apartment Association Independent Owner of the Year. But my claim to fame is that I make money for my team. I make money for my investors. I've done 13 cash out refinance events.
Wow.
And when you can do 13 cash out refinance events, not including the 3 that I did under my other flag, which I should take credit for because I did those, right? I've been crowned the National Owner of the Year twice.
Man, you should change your name to the Cash Out King, not the Apartment Rockstar. Come on, man.
And it all works, man. It all works.
So, man, listen, if you guys want to learn about, the Rockstar Capital, what he's doing, what's your website? Just let's get that out there so folks know exactly where to go. We'll come back to it, but just so we know exactly where to go.
Yeah, it's rockstar-capital.com or rockstarcapital.com. Go there.
Why'd you put the hyphen in? Why do you
in the early days, Rockstar Capital wasn't available. It just wasn't around in 2011. I had to wait for someone to give it up, or I think I actually bought it for like $3,000. So I got rockstarcapital.com years later. But we have both domain names. They go to the same place.
Well, then why even use the hyphen? Just tell people Rockstar Capital. I never understood that about
your cancel culture. I like it is who we are. It's
got you.
Back in the day, we were nobody. We had to get a hyphen in our name.
You like the hyphen part of the story. Okay, I see.
I do like it, because it's who we are.
And
with that, or you can go to my personal page, which is apartmentrockstar.com.
Okay.
And if you like what you're going to hear today, Ellis and I are going to be doing a mastermind. Ellis, are we going to talk about that? Am I killing your
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think, people can reach out to us about this, I think 40-person mastermind you and I are doing in September. I don't think there's spots, man. People want to be a part of this room so bad. Yeah. I don't think we're going to have room. If we do, and yes, folks can come email me, ellis@kingdomcapitalist.co, and we'll see if we got tickets. But Robert, people want to be there, man. this is it's an easy sell to come and learn.
I'm super excited. I've been talking to my team. This is the first time we've ever done masterminds. I've done some, little one-on-one coaching here and there, but it really wasn't that mastermind feel. I think I kind of got my feet wet with it. I understand the time constraints. I understand really what people need to hear in the limited amount of time. And, they just need to ask questions. Yeah. It's like, how do I get from here to here?
Exactly.
Tell me your story, help me scale. Hey, and let me go to the races. That's what people need. They don't, anything that they can do to shortcut it, to get them to their goal. That's why you attend masterminds. Hey, I'm going to mastermind tomorrow. I'm going to go to Brad Lee's mastermind. It's in Vegas. I got a VIP ticket. Always pay for the VIP ticket. Always pay for front row.
That's good advice right there.
Little access.
Okay, dude, let's go, man. I got some questions for you.
Okay.
So you have sat across the table from guys like Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Brad Lee, who you just talked about. Guys, if you're listening, you don't know who those names are, look them up. They're some of the biggest influencers in their spaces in the entire industries, I want to know what you've learned about thinking big, growing your business, multiplying what are the lessons from those? Because some people will never have the opportunity to sit in front of influencers, guys like that. What have you taken away that you can share? How do we expedite what you've already learned from guys like that?
Well, first of all, that's not cheap, right? They charge, and you should pay. You should pay for somebody's advice, because that's what you're getting, their mistakes. You're learning what they did wrong, and what they're showing you, because you're paying for it, how to scale your business, how to go from 0 to 10 instead of having to go every step of the way on your journey to 100.
Right.
That's what you're paying for. So with Gary Vaynerchuk, I learned how to storytell. I learned that content is king, and tell your story. Be present. And with Grant Cardone, I learned that if you're not promoting it, you're demoting it. How are you going to know that I'm a 2-time national order of the year if I don't tell you? Right? Storytelling is what made our company grow during COVID. COVID was an amazing situation for us. It was probably the best thing that ever happened to my company in the 10 years, because not only did it separate us from the competition, but we're able to do why. Gary Vaynerchuk asked me one time, find a way to put yourself out of business. I'm like, what are you saying to me? He said to me, find a way to put yourself out of business and then create a defense against it. And I went home. That was the biggest lesson. Like, what does that mean? You're probably at home thinking, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay. What would put us out of business? If the offices are closed, if people can't get to us. Well, hell, what happened during COVID? The offices were closed. Nobody is leaving their apartments, right? But we invested in online technology 3 years earlier.
Wow.
We invested in full videos. Right now, I've got a full production crew right now. And they are recording this. They're going to do the content. They're going to do the editing. They're also going to repurpose the content. We're going to put it out on our podcast. We're going to get our story out. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to storytell so that when people can still find us online and make an educated decision on where they want to invest, where they want to live, our prospects. We also had the ability to really focus on reviews, because don't take my word for it. Take the word of the guy that just leased an apartment. Take the word of the guy that just renewed an apartment. Aren't they happy? They must be happy. They just put a review, right? So people want to buy from other people. They want to buy when other people are buying the same product. They want to feel good about that. So those two things kept us alive during COVID, right? And then of course the Grant Cardone, like, promote that story and get it out there in as many channels as you can. Our asset value, our NOI went up by 9.9% during COVID. Wow. Because while everybody else was struggling and they couldn't lease apartments, we were leasing apartments. We never stopped leasing apartments. People never had to come to the office. They could lease from wherever they wanted. They saw the full video tour. They were able to do the full online application. They were able to put in the rent money. All they had to do was get the key. We would put the key in there when we scheduled their move-in, put the key in the apartment, and they moved in without ever having to touch us. Not everybody can say they were able to do that. That helped us. Renewals, because everybody was at home. Renewals was going through the roof. We had 10% NOI growth.
Incredible. So there's something in there I think that's missing for most people, though, Robert. And this is what I've spent a little bit of time around you. I've had the privilege to be around you several times now. There's something about you that I want to know if there's a secret to it, because even that story I think demonstrates it. You heard something from Gary Vee. Go home and figure out what's going to cripple your business. You saw it, so you knew your business. You knew what could cripple you, and then there is a sense of urgency about you, a level of thinking that is so big, and you maximize time in a huge way. I'm curious, how do folks like myself, where I'm still early on in my business, or people listening, what is the key to getting there faster, right? To thinking that big, to maximize, because I want to maximize my time better. I want to think bigger and spend time on bigger activities. But yet sometimes I feel like I'm behind, or I don't know how to quite do that best. What clicked for you? What is that about you? How did you learn that? To think bigger, to maximize time so efficiently, to go after the big things, to really live life, like you said it, with a sense of urgency. Has that always been the case, or what turned?
I think I've always had a sense of urgency, but in these social media followers, right, that you talked about, something that Gary Vee taught me, and this is something he said very openly, publicly. This was not in my paid private meetings. I've had 2 meetings with him. He said that he did not want to get to his last days in his deathbed wondering, what if? What if I had done this? What if I had tried that? What if I had gone up to that pretty girl, instead of being scared? What if I had wanted to try to think bigger and move my company forward? That in a combination with Grant Cardone saying to me to 10x your business. Now, what does that 10x mean? Well, if you ask the son of a millionaire, how much is a lot of money? He's probably going to say $1 million. If you ask the son of a billionaire, how much is a lot of money? He ain't going to say $1 million. He's probably going to say $1 billion. So I asked myself, so he says, so why are you selling for this goal when you should be shooting for that goal? Mm. So a combination of the two guys, I don't want to leave my dreams on the table. And I got to make sure that the life choices I made in my life are worth it. So if I'm going to be out there hustling and grinding, I want to go for this goal. That's my goal. And you know what? Gary Vee wants to buy the Jets, right? That's what he says. I want to own the New York Jets. So he's grinding, trying to get to the Jets. That sounds like the 10X principle, just in another form, because Grant Cardone says the 10X your goals. So it is a combination of those two guys. I'm really hoping that I can bring in new influencers and they bring in new ideas to help me grow, because I want to grow. In the beginning of my career, like everybody else, we are selling our time for money. Yeah. Right? For that $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year job, you're selling your time. You're saying that's what my time is worth between 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock. But over time, you got to buy your time back, right? And whether that's through freelance projects, whether that's through other little things, I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm building scale in my business. This didn't happen overnight. I constantly have interviews coming in every single day of people that I think can provide value for me. But really, what are they doing? I'm buying 40 hours of my life back. Someone that can help me do asset management. Someone that can help me do regional property management. Someone that can help me do finance and underwriting. Someone that can help me do investor relations. I'm buying that time back. And at the same time, they're in the beginning of their journey, or they're still in their journey, right? And what am I doing? I now take myself from looking right here to getting a true bird's eye view of what's going on, of playing the GM or the coach that's sitting in the press box, right? And understanding, what do I need? How do I need to maximize? When you can work on your business versus working in your business, you become more effective. And I think that's what's occurred with me at Rockstar.
That's wow. To trade time for money until you can start buying time back. You know, that's so interesting when people like the idea of like money can't buy happiness. No, but it can buy you time. And with time, you can figure out what makes you happy. And that's why like the show used to be called Kingdom Capitalist. And I think most folks in the faith community neglect that principle of like how important profit is, because of what profit allows you to do and maximize the time that we have on this planet, which is the most valuable asset that we have. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, money is not the root of all evil. That's what they tell you. I think it's actually written in the Bible, right?
He says the love of money. So people think it's the money, but it's actually the love of money.
I would add to that that it's the lack of money can cause you to make bad decisions. You need to take care of yourself. You got to figure out, like, what does Grant say? Success is your duty. You have an X amount of time on this planet. What are you doing? I have a duty to my family to provide for them. I've done that. Now I have a duty to provide. I have a duty to my family to make them into good young men. My children, I'm talking about my two boys, right. Ryan and Connor, are my passions. And to show them the right way, to show them to be more entrepreneurial, to show them what path is in front of them. That's very important. At the same time, I'm showing my team what can be achieved. Hey, I didn't come for money. My daddy worked at Whataburger, which is a fast food chain like In-N-Out Burgers here in Texas, right? And he did that for 41 years. That's great. He had a great life, you know, but he didn't achieve the goals that he wanted to achieve. Yeah. He actually died 5 years ago and not achieving. He was going to come work with me at this company. I missed that opportunity. He didn't get to do that with me, but he traded his time for 41 years. Not achieving his goal. I think that kind of left an impact on me, you know, that I don't want to be in that situation. I want to make sure that my time on this planet is worth something. You know, they always hear that little expression, you were born here, you die here, but that little dash in the middle is who you are.
Rockstar dash capital, right? Come on, that dash, man.
That's right. If I can show my team that real estate is available to them, they're going to get a much better education at 20 something than I ever did. I didn't discover real estate until I was like 34, 33. I was 33. What if they can learn it in their 20s? What if somebody helps them get involved? Which is why I want them to get involved in the next deal. I want them to know what it's like to feel like they're an owner in a property. It makes me feel like I'm giving back to the world, to society. I'm investing in them. I'm hoping that they'll be appreciative and they'll work just a little bit more and stay a little bit later to help our goals and help make our investment that much better. And then it will put the ripple effect in their life. If I drop a little rock in there, that's going to be a ripple effect. What does that ripple effect do for them in their life? It introduces the concept of generosity. It introduces the concept of investment to them, and we'll see where it goes for them. We'll see where it goes for them. They won't forget me, right? Because you don't forget a guy that gives you money and gives you a piece of a real estate investment. You're not.
I don't know anybody else doing that. I mean, I think that's amazing. Here's a question for you though, because going back to team, again, this sense of urgency, I wanted to ask you this personally, just because again, I'm learning a ton from you. You and I are someone that we move fast. Like we have an idea, we want it done yesterday. But the thing about you I see too, though, is people love working for you. And like you were honorary mention or honorary almost for most admired CEO in 2019. You've been awarded like the great place to work. You got a great culture, man. Your people love you. They celebrate you. How do you have both? Like you want to move fast, you want to push people to work fast, and yet they still like you. Like what's the key to getting people to be as urgent? Because I find that no one wants to move as fast as me. I mean, and because they don't own it. It's the ownership mentality, right? So how do you create that in your culture, Robert?
It's a Gary Vee concept. And it's something I've been doing a long time before Gary Vee introduced it to me. You give them 51% of the relationship. You invest in them more than they're investing in you. And they will remember that. I'm telling you, this goes back to my last point. They're going to remember that time back in 2021 when Robert put $5,000 of his own cash, matched shoulder to shoulder with them, doubled their money, allowed them to get involved and experience cash flow, appreciation in the investment, and the tax advantages of owning real estate, right? They're going to remember that. Who else is going to have a bigger impact in their life at that point other than their mom and their dad, right? So my point is, if I invest in people, I'm going to believe that they're going to work a little hard. They're not going to want to quit on me. They're going to stick around. They're going to finish the job. They're going to be dependable. Yeah. They're going to try to give me what they can because they know that I don't have to do this. I do this because I want them to win. The other side to that is I don't want to win alone. I have a guilt conscience, or I have a weirdness that I don't want to get to the top of the mountain, plant that Rockstar flag, and have no one to share stories with. I only want to look around and see all my friends and see everybody, whether they're still with the company or they're not, who helped this company grow. And I want to pat them on the shoulder and say, man, remember this time? Remember back in 2020? Remember back in 2021? Remember that time in 2018? You right? I want to be able to share that story. I want to be able to leave an impact because real estate has made a generational impact on me. And if I can have a bit of an impact on them, it might affect them generationally. You never know. And it's just giving good back into society.
Robert, we're about to wrap up here, but I don't know if you know this, man. I'm a week from being a dad. My baby girl's
Dude, I'm excited for you, baby.
In 7 days, man. So I'm freaking out a little bit, but I'm holding in there. I'm excited too. You have 2 boys. I see you post all the time on Instagram about them. You talked about them being your wife for a big reason. I mean, what is the legacy? Like, I'm listening to the What It Takes by the CEO of Blackstone, right? And he talks about a lot about his kids at the end of that book. And I'm just curious, man, like, what is the legacy, or what is it that you want those guys, your sons, to say about you, when they're our age and they're building businesses? I mean, what are you doing now? And I'm asking this from an advice standpoint. Like, here I am about to have a baby girl, ambitious, trying to grow a big business. Yet I don't want that to get in the way of the legacy we have with our children. What do you want? What are you doing now? And what do you want them to say 30 years from now as a result of what you're doing today?
Number one is make their passion your passion. Find out what's important to them and make it important to you. It's something that I take with my team. I want to know what's important to them so I can try to help it and be important to me. I've helped people get their first house. I've helped people get out of bad credit situations, get their first car. I've helped some of the earliest team members are now multi-millionaires today because I wanted to show them how to get out of debt And then they wanted to invest with me, and I helped them invest with me. And I wanted to share in that wealth. And now they're doing very well today. So, but my point is, with your children, you want to show them an act of generosity, and you want to show them hard work and perseverance. My boys get a chance to come work with me this summer. It's the first time. And I have this amazing office now that we have. And I'm super excited because I remember the day that I went to go work with my dad. Now, my dad was a regional manager. He had over 30 stores that he oversaw. I worked at one little store. I was making $3.35 an hour. But I remember my first day. I remember going there. I remember having his name because we had the same name. I was a junior. I remember him saying to me, "You represent me. Don't forget." And I never forgot that, right? Because everybody, it's Robert Martinez. That was somebody at Whataburger, and when I came in, I'm junior. I had the same name, right? That was important to me. So it's interesting how I went to work for my dad in my very first job, and my kids get to come work over here with me in my first job, in their first job, excuse me. And look at the difference. My dad worked at a store. I own the store. I have 420 million worth of assets under management, and they get to work at that kind of company. Where are they going to be when they get my age?
Yeah.
Right. That's exciting. So being able to show them what's achievable, right? Stretch your kids' imaginations. The Grant Cardone concept. How much money is it to the son of a millionaire versus how much money is it to the son of a billionaire? I want them to think big. I want them to see me. You're going to learn this, Ellis. They're going to be in the back seat one day, whether they're in the car seat or whether they're in they're buckled up, and you're going to be driving your investments, and you're going to be sharing stories with them about what happened during the day or what they're looking at. Have them understand what that apartment building means to them. Help them and then ask them how their day went over and over. So so they feel that you're invested in them, and say, "Hey, can I share with you how my day went?" Yeah, they're going to want to know.
Right.
Share with them how your day went.
Yeah.
My team, my kids know the names of my team. They know the different personalities. Natalie's right here recording. They know who Natalie is. They sat next to Natalie. Natalie likes the video game. They love the video game. They're going to know these people. Have them learn your story. Because you know what? All this other Instagram stuff means nothing if your kids don't know your own story.
Yeah.
I don't know my dad's story. I wish I did. I remember at his funeral 5 years ago, they were doing the eulogy, and people were coming up, and they were sharing their story of my dad, how my dad helped somebody kick an addiction, how my dad helped somebody, gave somebody a chance. Because of that chance, somebody, rehabbed their life and their child went to college. And I remember my team was crying, who went with me, right? They went with me as support. And I asked, "Why are you crying?" It's like, "Because I feel like it's you." Because we have the same name. I feel like it's you they're talking about. And I'm like, wow. So I don't know my dad's story, but he put in me what I need in life to be successful. And if your team and your friends are sad that you're gone and they're seeing how you impacted their life, I mean, what greater legacy is that?
I don't think there is. Guys, we're here
your
with
baby girl, man. That's awesome.
We're here with the apartment rock star, Mr. Robert Martinez. We're going to be in Houston together. He's in Houston. So if you're in Houston, you want to get by his offices, see what these guys are doing, literally changing the game there. Brother, I'm excited I told you this, man, who you draft behind matters. There's so much I still got to learn. I'm excited to learn it from you. I'm grateful for your time today. I know you're entertaining on Instagram, apartment rockstar at Apartment Rockstar. Where else? Where do you want to head? Where should folks go to get in touch with you or learn more about what you guys are doing?
If you want to invest in one of our deals, you like what our story is, you want to get involved in the game with us, you want to get some generational wealth going and understand what a tax-free refinance is and understand what tax savings are, go to investing at rockstar-capital.com. If you want to see our story, see our journey, again, you already mentioned it on Instagram, Apartment Rockstar. We put a ton of free content out there. A ton. I want you to see what we're doing. I will show you how to be a better operator. You don't have to pay me. I'm going to give it away for free. You can go to YouTube and go to Rockstar Capital, or you can go to the Apartment Rockstar on YouTube. You'll find if you have a will, there will be a way. We're providing the information there. Take advantage of it.
Brother, excited to see you soon, man. Everyone, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. Thanks, man. Take care, Ellis.